Hello students, in today's video I will discuss about the fate of sinus venosus. When you will have this question in exam, you already have this basic idea, as we have already discussed in my earlier class of the heart tube, that sinus venosus is known as venous end of the heart tube, which is placed caudally. So here you can see that this is the tube which is having a cranial end which is known as arterial end, and this is the venous end which is a caudal end. What is the meaning of venous end? That whatever the blood is there in the fetus, that blood is entering into the heart tube through this lower end of the heart tube, then it will pass through the tube and then come out from this cranial end. Now when we are talking about the intraembryonic life, the heart tube is a first organ which start functioning. So this tube start beating at the 21st day of intrauterine life, and by the 25th or 24th day the blood start to circulate throughout the embryo. So initially you know that the sinus venosus is known as the venous end and it is a caudally placed. Now the important thing is that when you will see the lower end of the sinus venosus, it is having a unfused areas, and these unfused areas are known as right and left horn of the sinus venosus. Now you know that every sinus venosus horn receive the three veins, and these three veins are known as vitelline vein, umbilical vein and common cardinal vein. Now when we are talking about the vitelline vein, it is coming from the yolk sac, umbilical vein come from the placenta, and common cardinal veins are coming from your body wall. So here you can see that this is the one side horn, this is the another side of horn, and every horn is having the three veins. And when you will see the sequence from medial to lateral, it is vitelline vein, then umbilical vein, and then the common cardinal vein. Now here in this image, what you are able to appreciate that this is your one side which you are able to see, and in this profile view you can see this is your sinus venosus and it is receiving the three vein. This is your yolk sac, and from this capillary plexus the vein is going, this is your vitelline vein. Now here this is your placenta, from the placenta this vein is going again, this is your umbilical vein. Now when we are talking about the formation of the common cardinal vein, the word common means that it is formed by the fusion of two veins. This is coming from the anterior end, so this is known as anterior cardinal vein. It is coming from the posterior side, which is known as posterior cardinal vein, and both of them are fusing to form common cardinal vein. So there are three veins on each side. One is from yolk sac, one is from placenta, and one is, there are two veins which will join together to form a common cardinal vein. Clear? So now when you are talking about the fate of the sinus venosus, it is divided into the three parts. One is known as the fate of sinoatrial orifice. Then we will see the changes in the right and left horn, and lastly we will strictly talk about the three tributaries. Basically we are talking about the attachment of the three veins with the sinus venosus. In today's lecture I am not discussing the whole venous system, I am just talking about here the meaning of tributaries means only the terminal ends of the three veins which we just told you. Clear? So first is sinoatrial orifice. Now what is sinoatrial orifice? Sinoatrial orifice is a communication between the sinus venosus and atrium. Now here you can see that this is the one horn, this is the another horn. When the blood is coming initially from both the horn, it will pass through the sinus venosus into the atrium, and there is a large wide opening is seen which is known as sinoatrial orifice. So it is a communication between the sinus venosus and your primitive atria. Now this orifice is wide enough and it is horizontally placed and it is centrally located. Now the change will take place. There are two changes will take place into this opening. First change is that this opening become narrow, and the second change is that this opening shift to the right side. Now what does it mean? Now it means that when you are making this opening narrow, this opening can be narrowed in both the sides by symmetrical folding, and then you will have a centralized narrow opening. Clear? But this is not the pattern of narrowing. That's why I am saying that this is important to understand the narrowing. Now when we are talking about the narrowing, what will happen? There is a formation of a fold from the left side, and this left side fold shift this opening into the one side of the canal, that is the right side. So the shifting of the opening towards the right side. So this is the important thing, that when we are talking about the narrowing of the canal, this canal is not narrowing in from both the side, it is narrowing from one side only, that is from the left side. And this projection, which is projecting from the left to right, is known as sinoatrial fold, and by the help of the formation of sinoatrial fold, your canal is now shifted on the right side. Now this fold separates the left part of the sinus from the left side of the atrium. Now here you can see that once the fold will form, this left horn is now separated from the primitive atria. Clear? Right margin of the sinoatrial orifice called right venous wall, while the left margin is called as left venous wall. What does it mean? When the this shifting will take place, the orientation of the orifice is also changed. Now this is no more remain horizontal, it will become vertical, and it is slightly oblique. So when you will see the orifice, this orifice is oriented in such a way, and it is having the two margin. This is known as right margin, this is known as left margin. The right margin is known as right venous wall, the left margin is known as left venous wall. Clear? Now the cranial fused end of the this valve is known as septum spurium, and the caudal end of the fusion is known as sinus septum. So if both these ends will fuse, they are known as septum spurium, and when these two ends will fuse, they are known as sinus septum. Clear? So when you are talking about the sinoatrial orifice changes, what are the changes? The first change is that from the wide opening it become narrow. Second, the narrowing is not centrally placed, it is shifting towards the right side. Third, the narrowing is changing the orientation, it is no more horizontal, it is become vertical, and it is having the two-fold right and left sinus wall. The upper end is formed the septum spurium, and lower end is known as sinus septum. Clear? Now there is a one very important change will take place. What? In addition, the right horn enlarges due to the left to right shunt of the blood, so the right horn much larger than the left. Now this is something is important which you have to understand, that what is the meaning of this left to right shunt. Now in this image we will try to understand that what is happening. Initially there is a anterior cardiac vein on the left side, and this is a posterior cardiac vein on the left side. Now both the left veins are fusing together to form the left common cardinal vein. In the same way, this is your right side anterior cardinal vein, this is your right side posterior cardinal vein, and they are joining together to form the right common cardinal vein. Now my dear students, in the development of sinus venosus, there is a one thing which you have to remember, that you have to enlarge the right horn and you have to decrease the size of left horn. Now once you will have this concept in your mind that we have to increase the size of right horn and we have to decrease the size of left horn, then the second thing comes, how it is possible. Now it can be possible by shunting of the blood from left to right. So majority of the blood will go from left side to the right side. There are two things which are responsible for this shifting. One thing is that in both the anterior cardinal vein we are creating a one communicating channel. So here you can see the communicating channel will form, and through this communicating channel what is happening, the blood is coming to the right side. So from this left the blood will pass and it will enter into the right side. Clear? This is the one thing. And the second thing will come, which I will tell you, that later on what will happen, the left umbilical vein proximal part also disappear, and whatever the blood is entering from the left umbilical vein bypass by the ductus venosus into the right side of the chamber. So my dear students, when we are using the word left to right shunt, you have to understand that the blood is shifting from left horn to the right horn. How? One way is by the formation of a communication between the two cardinal veins. So the blood of left side is going to the right side. Now if you will see this in the adult heart, I will just explain you in this adult heart. Now this is the adult heart where you can see that this is your left side vein, this is your left side vein, this is your right side vein, this is your right side vein. Now here you can see that earlier there was a vein here, but what we did, we have created a channel, and this channel is shifting the blood from left to right, and then it is going through the superior vena cava into the right atrium. So this channel, which is present in a adult life as a left brachiocephalic vein, responsible for left to right shunt of the blood. Clear? So my dear students, this is the important concept to understand here, that when we are talking about left to right shunt, we have to shift the blood into the right chamber of the heart. And when we are talking about the sinus venosus, this is the concept which again you have to understand, that we have to increase the size of right horn and we have to decrease the size of left horn. And how? By the shunting of the blood from left to the right. And one of the ways, by this communication between the anterior cardinal vein. So the sinoatrial opening shift to the right and open into the future right atrium. Now we will talk about the change in the left horn. So I just told you what is the future of left horn, that the size of the left horn decreases. So why it decreases? So it decreases because there is a formation of the sinoatrial fold, and this fold separates the left horn from the primitive atria, and thus the left horn becomes just a tributary of right horn. So now what will happen? Now initially this is your right horn, this is your left horn, which are equal in size. But later on what will happen, as this will decrease in the size, one point will come when this is now become very smaller in size. So now this right horn is receiving the three veins here, and it is also receiving this left horn also. And then the blood will go from the right horn to the atria. Clear? And this is your sinoatrial opening. So what is the future of this left horn? Left horn decreases in the size, and at one point it will become tributary of right horn. So whatever the blood is there in the left horn will enter first into the right horn, and from the right horn it will go into the atrium. So as venous inflow shift to the right, the left horn growth ceases and is transformed into the small venous sac. And what is the adult derivative of left horn? This is a very important question. Answer is your coronary sinus and a small oblique vein of left atrium. Clear? So my dear students, when you will dissect your right atrium, when you will open the right atrium, you will find the opening of coronary sinus. And the opening of coronary sinus always present in the area of right atrium, which develops from the right horn. Clear? Now what is the change in the right horn? So right horn increases or enlarges in the size. Why enlarges in the size? Because it is receiving more and more venous blood, and also it is receiving more amount of oxygenated blood from the left umbilical vein. So as the right horn enlarges to keep the pace with the rapid growth of rest of the heart, the right side of the sinus venosus gradually incorporated into the right dorsal wall of the developing right atrium. So what is the future of right horn? Right horn become the part of right atrium, and the area of the right atrium which develops from the sinus venosus is known as sinus venerum. So this is again a question of your exam. When you will cut the right atrium and open it, you will realize it is divided into the smooth part and the rough part. The smooth part of the right atrium is known as sinus venerum. Why? Because this part develops from the sinus venosus and right horn. Clear? So my dear students, when you will see this smooth part or the sinus venerum in the right atrium, you will see that it is receiving the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and coronary sinus. So opening of all these three channels into the right horn is proof that this part develops from the your right horn of sinus venosus, and it is known as sinus venerum. So now at the end we will discuss about the tributaries. As I just told you that we are not discussing the whole venous system. So when we are talking about the tributaries, there are 3 right and 3 left. So what is the future of right common cardinal vein? So the right common cardinal vein become the terminal part of superior vena cava, while the right vitelline vein become terminal part of inferior vena cava, and right umbilical vein obliterates. Clear? When we will talk about the left common cardinal vein form the oblique vein of the left atrium. The left vitelline vein again obliterate, and when you will see the left umbilical vein, the proximal part obliterate and the distal part persist. So if you will see this, now here this is your right horn, this is your left horn. Now what is happening? Left horn is having the 3 veins, right horn is having the 3 veins. Now what is the future of the left horn? Left horn itself decreases in the size, and once it will decreases in the size, it become the tributary of your right horn. Clear? Now what is the future of these 3 veins? Now if you will see, the left vitelline vein disappears. If you will see the left common cardinal vein, it also become the part of your vein of left atrium. And now we will talk about this left umbilical vein. Now this left umbilical vein is going to your placenta. Clear? Now what is happening in this course? Now in this course you may have this confusion that whatever the blood is coming from this left umbilical vein should go into the left horn. But it will not happen. Why? Because in the middle it is passing through the septum transversum. Now once it is passing through this septum transversum, there is a formation of liver area. So now this vein is divided into the 2 parts. Now this proximal part will obliterate and this distal part will persist, which in the adult life form the ligamentum teres. Now dear students, what will happen? This blood which is passing through the left umbilical vein will enter into the liver, and from here you will have a formation of a one more anastomosis, and this will bypass the blood to enter into the left side, and this anastomosis or bypass channel is known as ductus venosus. And with this ductus venosus, again you can see there is a left to right shunting is taking place. So there are 2 channels which I just told you. One is the channel is between the 2 anterior cardinal vein, so you will have left to right shunt. Here this is again left to right shunt. How? That this proximal part of the left umbilical vein disappear, and this ductus venosus is shunting the blood from left umbilical vein to the right side. And you know that right side you will have the formation of inferior vena cava from the right vitelline vein. So suppose this is the right vitelline vein. So this right vitelline vein is receiving the blood, and this blood then enter into the right horn. Clear? So now here you can see this is the shunting from left to right side. And this is the source of oxygenated blood from the placenta, which is passing through the left umbilical vein, then from the liver, then ductus venosus, then inferior vena cava, which is the terminal end, and then into the right horn. So because of this reason, it is receiving more and more blood, so it enlarges, and it is not receiving the blood, so left horn regresses or decreases in the size, and it becomes the tributary of your right horn. Clear? So dear students, now at the end of this session, what you are able to understand, that whenever we are talking about the sinus venosus, it is a lowermost or the caudal end of the heart tube which is having the right and left horn, and the sinus venosus is having a communication with the atrium which is known as sinoatrial orifice, and later on this orifice is shift to the right side and become narrow, and the contact or the communication of the left horn with the your atria is no more. And the most important thing is that there is a shunting of the blood occurs from left to right. So right horn enlarges and left horn decreases, and it becomes tributary of the right horn. Clear? So this is all for the session. Thank you.